Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So, like I said, if I'm taking your name, it's not only for you, it's for everybody. Okay, I'm just making an example. So let's look at Galina's one. And out of everybody, Galina, I expect a little bit more because you're working already. So let's look at your file
Galina
changes.
is running 20 minutes late. Should be here by
Okay,
7:30.
got it. Okay, but she'll watch this
She'll see
later.
this. Yeah, she will. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so these tests right here, we did talk about if somebody's requesting, if you found a reviewer who's easy enough to let you go, I wouldn't have any problem. Okay. Um, this one review requested, they didn't even review. Let me see who was requested and they didn't even put their thoughts into this. But that's another thing, right? So I have two reviewer here, right? Savelina and Laho. Laho will be, I think, late too. But both of you guys fail to acknowledge this pull request review. The next thing Galina is going to do is put a message in the group of your teams. And he'll say, hey, I already assigned both of you guys to look into this and it's been so long, right? Do you have time? Obviously, they cannot put too much pressure because at the end of the day, if you have time, you can review. But that's also not a good looking because if you want your coworkers to review your work and you're not doing it back as a favor, that's not also going to be very much team player kind of situation here. Okay, so then and again, this homework was probably the easiest homework that you guys ever got. So I'll go back to another person. Everybody needs to be in. I'll go back to Lahul when he's here. Okay, let's look at Jaidul. Okay, Jaidul doesn't even have a request for a review. So look at the PR. Not only that he doesn't have any description, which I said optional, but many workplaces will be required. And then if I look at the test, it's a flat file, not one, but two, three test cases. And I see this is a problem. I see this is a problem. I see this is a problem. So if you're not requesting a review of somebody, then you're never going to be improving. You can't really improve. So if you requested somebody to review this pull request, they would have told you, this is the problem, right? You can't have 1, 2, 3 imports in the same file. Why are you repeating yourself so many times? The effect is going to be same, whether you're importing here or there. You just copy pasted. Where is your learning level right now? Didn't you get a little bit of knowledge from the last few classes and the homeworks that we did? This is the question that I will ask you. And this is the question that your manager will say, wait a minute, you're not an automation guy. This is just completely logical here. If you see all of your test cases, if you see 2 test cases, the import goes on the top. You should probably draw to that conclusion that we're going to put all the imports on the top. But then if I see the import has the same exact thing, do I need it again and again? That's logical. It's not even technical anymore. So that means you didn't have a few minutes to even think about this before pasting it and pushing the code. Okay, that's the way that I'm gonna think right now for this PR. Okay, let's go to another person next. Okay, let's see Lahul. I mean, I expect more from him too because he's also worked in a company, right? So we got an import right here. Okay, that was fine. But again, flat file, right? It's not acceptable. So then please review the items with the team. Okay. It says, okay, that's fine, but he wrote it himself. No request of review. That's also really bad. Okay.
Can
If
you
you
go
need a
over
review,
Galina's?
Mhm.
I'm so sorry.
Let's see. No worries. Let's see. Where is she? I can probably go ahead and author. Okay, so let's see one of them. 3. Okay, you're supposed to review it, obviously. I don't see any review there.
I'm behind Joel.
Yes, but we have like literally 4 more, weeks, right? So that means 8 more classes. And this is gonna be really, really hard on you on the last day. Especially like I'll be upfront right now. Those who haven't learned anything throughout the last classes, and it's gonna be really, really challenging for you. It's gonna be challenging in terms of getting a job, and even if you get a job, it's gonna be challenging for you to keep the job. Okay, so my intention for this course was to make sure that I'm teaching you guys only the things that you need, the only things, because there's like 20 other items that I can talk about that we have to teach. I'm not focusing on those. I'm only focusing on very specific technology that you need for you to be able to do your job, especially getting it in Playwrights. And you guys are failing real hard, with the exception of 1 or 2. You guys are failing real hard because these 3 months later, you should be feeling very, very comfortable to go out there and look for a job, and if you're not spending time now, then you will never have time. Like, imagine you actually got a job and you have now 9 to 5. When do you have time to learn? You'll have to go sit down with your team. You'll have meetings. You'll have assignments that you'll be looking into. At that time, if you say, I'm going to go figure it out, and they're already unhappy with you because you took 3 weeks on a small test case and it wasn't even done correctly, that's really going to not help you keep a job. Even if you make it somehow, right? Even if you make it somehow, because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. If you don't have the knowledge, you're gonna feel like this is not for you at some point, and you'll fall off. And I don't want people to have that kind of feelings. Let's see. All right, I'm just going over these things because I'm telling you guys what you guys are doing wrong, and you still have chance to turn it around. You still have, if you feel like I'm talking to you, then it is for you, that you still have time to turn around and still actually make this course valuable to yourself by finishing it, because you're learning the latest and the greatest technology. This is not going to just stay for 1 or 2 years. This is going to stay for the next 10, 15 years in the industry. And as technology evolves, you'll also learn other tools, but at least this is going to be your foot in the door tool. And it is easy. It's going to be easy for you to get a job in this because everybody wants to make that shift. Every company right now is looking to upgrade their frameworks, and you'll be the person to go and make that happen. Except if you're not doing the work that it needs here, then I don't expect you to actually make any miracle, at the end, because it's something that I don't have too much power to go out and get you a job without actually any knowledge. Let's go back. So was I complicated when I gave you guys this homework? Because I with 1 or 2 of you guys, I don't see any work was done. Right? I don't see anything is done as a homework. None of you guys actually did it except for 1 person here. Okay, and then look, request. All you have to do is click on this. Like if I click on this, boom, he's notified and he'll do it. So then we have a merge conflict, right? That's really, really not a good looking because this is gonna really today's class is gonna look like alien to you if that is the case, because if you aren't able to actually get to this far, then it's gonna be really, really tough for you to get, speed things up and catch up. I'm still gonna be telling you the same thing. Spend day and night if you can. And it's only the 3 months you're going through this hard time. And then after that, nobody's gonna tell you to do this again. You'll be knowledgeable, you'll be confident, and then you'll also, you don't have to go back to this if you already know it. Even if you don't memorize it, it's fine. As long as you know how things work, you'll be able to figure it out, right? You'll be able to Google the syntax, you'll know where things goes, you should be fine. You don't have to know it by heart. You just have to practice. All right, with that said, I think too much of me going off in the beginning, but this homework is really not done for you guys. So I'm gonna give top of this, I'm gonna give you a difficult homework for the next one. And let's see how that goes. Top of this one.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
I got into this issue. I was able to resolve it, but the issue is that so I did the poll. I mean, I created a pull request, and basically I had 4 pull requests, right? On the last one, I manually deleted 2 of the test cases from the GitHub, the site, right? And then I was trying to basically again create a pull request from my local to the Git, but those the test cases I deleted, I was unable to commit and push the code because my local system thinks I already done it. So how do I fix that issue? What I did is I just changed the name of the test and it did it, but without changing the name, how do I do that? Like, how do I cancel my last pull request from the local system so it knows, hey, I need to somehow update the GitHub. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Am I explaining?
Yep.
Okay.
I understood exactly what happened there. In that case, just the way that we do merge conflict fix and we merge master into our branch, you would have to merge your remote into your local branch because your remote is no longer same as your local. Your branch is still your branch. Your branch has a name, and the same name applies to both remote and local. You happen to make the change in remote, but then your local still have those changes. Unless local and remote are same, you're not gonna be able to push anything or pull anything because you're gonna override things. You can actually force it too. You can say -- force and it'll do it.
But you told us not to use that.
Exactly. Never ever use force because you don't know what you will cause. So what I would say is just the way that, let me pull out my VS Code to show you. Okay, so this is not the framework. Let me just open the one. Learn automation. Maybe that's the one. Okay. All right. What I would say is that if this is my branch master, I would go back in here and I'm gonna be pulling remote master. So I'll be like saying, pressing on these 3, click on branch, and I will say merge, right? Merge. And then I'm not gonna, this is the local master. How do I know it's just by itself? If I go down a little bit, I should see origin master somewhere, right? So if master was my branch and I want to update with the remote, I would see origin master somewhere. If I don't see it, I'll go and type it. Okay. Yeah, I don't even have origin because I didn't push it from here, but you'll see origin / your branch. Okay. Or remote / your branch. And then you select that, and then it will tell you the difference here, just the way that we fix merge conflict, and you'd be able to then go ahead and push or pull. Okay, that's one way, but I can show you guys an example. Now, let's go into today's topic. I don't want to be spending too much time in the beginning just talking, giving you guys like what I think. But you're responsible for your own learning because at the end of the day, if you somehow didn't learn and you didn't spend time, but you were able to get it done, that's still not learning, right? So it's gonna come back to you, right? It's gonna bite you again in the back at some point. So regardless of how you get there, regardless of how you learned it, I would say the value that you can add to yourself is if you have some gray area and you don't understand, go back and learn, Google it. If you don't like watching videos, Google things, read it, YouTube things, learn from somebody else, but learn it. Okay, but I'm giving you here guidance in terms of what you should be touching next. What is the next topic that you should be learning in order for you to get to the point where you can say, you're an automation engineer. So just keep that in mind. With that said, I'm gonna go back to today's topic. Yeah.
Can I ask one more question? Sorry.
Go
Was
ahead,
it on the terminal? What's the difference between git pull and git fetch?
So git fetch is basically, I think it's a little bit different. Let me just literally, because I never use git fetch. I used to use in the beginning, so I really like, since I don't use it, can't even tell you. Let's see. Okay, so the key difference between git fetch and git pull, git pull copies changes from the remote directly into your branch, working directly, while git fetch does not. It doesn't directly copy. Git fetch commands only copies changes into your local git result. Only the changes.
Okay.
Right? Not the whole thing. Okay. So that's that. But both, I mean, I never use git fetch. I don't find it useful, but git pull is something that I use most of the time. So see whichever is useful to you at this moment. The intention here is that you'll be able to make sure the remote is same as your local, so you can do pull and push easily. Now let's think about, so far with our framework, we learn how to deal with links and stuff. We learn how to write test case more efficiently by using page object parent. But what if your manager comes to you and say, hey, I have a CSV or I have an Excel file with 100 records of data that I would like you to automate. Like these are data. Will you write 100 test case, or will you write one test case to just get the data from the Excel sheet? And Excel as CSV is the same way, guys. So it's going to be the very similar, flavor when you're dealing with CSV or Excel. So my question, let me just go ahead and get some thoughts from you guys before even get to the point. So we're thinking about a test case. Let's say we have a test case, right? And in the test case, I can probably go with Google, if anything, just to simplify things. Let's say in the Google, you work for Google right now as an engineer. And in order for you to test if the search feature works properly, you need to make sure that all the keyword returns a result, but you cannot just do one keyword and say, oh, okay, everything is working. So maybe your boss comes to you and say, okay, what is your, strategy behind testing the search engine, which could be very, very difficult to test. And you came up with an idea of like, oh yeah, okay, sure. Give me like 10,000 keywords, right? 10,000 keywords. And if there is a result showing for all 10,000, then it's not a coincidence that, that Google works. And it could be 10,000 mixture of different keyword, which should be different categories of keyword, right? Let's say even more, right? Okay, let's say 10,000 keywords. Let's start with that. So you're going to be doing one at a time. If the result, if there is a result here and you see that you have numbers, if it's higher than, let's say, 5,000 search count, then you consider that it's done, right? Then you consider that it is actually working. Okay. Now, that is your strategy. And your manager says, wow, okay, that's great. I think that it'll be fine. And this is one of the part where maybe automation can be very more useful. So now let's say if you were to write test cases for this, how many test cases would you write?
Can you write one test case and do all the do the validation in one test case?
You still have to run every single keyword.
You can pull the data and run it, no?
One at a time, but then you're saying the code is going to be same, but then the data is going to be changed every time it runs?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because
Okay.
it's basically searching the keyword, same functionality every time, right? The steps are the same. It's just the keyword, just only thing that's changing. So this can run, one after another, until all 10,000 keywords are run, no?
Mhm.
Just throwing it out there.
Okay, that's that. Anybody else? Anybody else have any other ways to test this? Can somebody test manually 1000?
Can you repeat the questions once more?
So you have 1000 keywords. Like, okay, your manager came to you or maybe the engineering manager came to you and says, hey, we just recently upgraded Google search and we need to test it to make sure it returns the, results at least, and it should be the accurate results. And he asks you, because you're the Q engineer, you have to come up with an answer. You have to come up with a solution here. Your strategy is to say, okay, give me the keywords that you think I should use, and I'll use those keywords to search. And if they work, then we're good. If they work less than 98% of the time, maybe there is 1 or 2% where keyword could be like crazy. If they work 99% of the time, then we basically call that a success. There's this, that is the consensus between you and the manager. My question is, are you going to test this manually? Are you going to basically do one keyword at a time? Can you do it manually?
I mean, it is going to take a long time to do it. That's where the automation comes in. So with you can have multiple machines running those keywords, right? So which is much faster and it's less time consuming, and that means it costs less money to run this test with automation.
Okay, so if I was to ask you now a interview question, like, what are some of the test cases would be suitable for automation?
Anything that repeatable, like any test case that's repeated multiple times, same test case, that's something that could automate it. Anything that's for example, the example you gave us is that we have 10,000, and if we do a manual list, it will take a lot more time than running automation, where I can do like multiple machines, and it'll be much faster. It'll take maybe 2 hours compared to if I do manually, it's going to take about 80 hours or 90 hours or more. Those are more profitable to run automation than manual. Manual, basically any test case that's like exploratory test or something that is basically one time and I'm not going to run it again. Something like that can be manual compared to something that's repetitive. Like, there's no point of manually testing that if it's, you're doing it constantly, running it every night or every other, like a regression test that runs every night. And that's something that you should automate, definitely. But anything that exploratory, maybe not, because you're trying to break the system.
Okay, so is this humanly possible in the first place? Like, can 10,000?
I mean, anything is possible if you have like 100 or 20.
I put 7 people
tester.
to do 10,000 keywords, and they're doing 100 per day, or maybe they're doing like, let's say 500 per day. What could be some of the challenges?
And the challenge is it'll take the time. You will not meet the deadline of the project because you're taking so much time to do this manually, where automation could be done maybe within 5% of how manual would take.
But will this introduce human errors? Like, let's say Shazad is sitting down and doing his 500 for the day.
Of course, but again, for example, if I do 500, if I do something like same thing over and over, of course, there's a possibility I'll make mistakes as a human. Compared to the machine, it will not make that mistake.
So then that kind of defeats the purpose of testing, right? Because now,
that defeats the purpose of manual testing, not the automation part. Because automation will do the same process.
So in this case, automation is necessary.
That is correct.
This is required at this point. Okay. So in truth, and if I was working for Google, I wouldn't settle for 10,000 keywords. If they ask me like, hey, can you test, Google, I would probably ask for millions of keyword, and I would have to put it into like hundreds of machines to come back and say, okay, it's good. Right? Because I wouldn't just take 10,000 keywords and say it's done, because it's and you have to also see what is, how many type of data or how many type of categories there are in terms of search. And you have to go through those. You're gonna find, what kind of keyword that will add value to search. And then what is your expectation for those keywords? Are you expecting 5,000 results? Are you expecting more than 10,000, results and so on? So the strategy has to come, and you have to basically build the strategy as you learn about the search engine itself. And I'm not saying that everything that I'm saying will be exactly as is. Maybe if I was working for Google, I would come up with even better if I had more internal structure idea how the search engine was built. But I can bet you that at least developers wrote some tests that would go and test with hundreds. I'm talking about millions of keywords if needed. Okay, so that's good that we kind of like all agreed that this is something that we should do automation. And there are something that some test cases where you will see that we can automate it, but we should not. Who can give me some example on those? You can automate, not a problem, but we should not automate it.
Exploratory testing, for example.
Okay, but it's not even possible to do exploratory testing unless you are using AI. How would you do exploratory testing when you already know what you're going to be testing? Exploratory testing is supposed to be, you don't even know where you're going. You're just trying to break the system, right?
Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so what else can you? I'm asking opposite of this, right? You should not automate it, but you can given the time, but you should not. You have to, the reason why you have to be very strong-minded about these things is because at work, they'll give you test cases to automate, and then maybe you should not be automating it for whatever reason, but then you took too much time, and at the end, after 2 weeks later, oh no, I can't. That's worse than telling them up front, okay, we have better fish to fry, we have bigger fish to fry, and this one we should not automate it because this will introduce more errors, then this will introduce more complexity than what we already have. Okay, so you got to be very selective of what should be automated, because again, you could kind of dictate the purpose of automation if your test automation constantly require attention, constantly failing because you have a very sensitive test cases that fails just because, so you have to also keep in mind that you're not going to just say, you're not going to be a yes man at work or yes woman at work. You're going to have to give your expertise and say, okay, I can tell you up front, these are the test cases we're not going to automate it because this is going to cause more harm than good. We should be doing manual testing. And and then you can also say, these are the test cases that I would be worried if somebody does manual testing because this will introduce a lot of human errors and we should consider automating them. So you're not giving your job away to manual testers. You're still saying that they should be doing something that automation shouldn't do. Okay, so should and shouldn't is the keyword here, because given time and money, anything can be automated. Okay, this is one of the interview questions where they just ask you during the interview. They don't like my answer. If I say, yeah, you give me the time and money, I can automate anything. But the problem is I just shouldn't automate everything because I should. Sorry, because I can. It's about necessity. It's about, working, smart, not working hard and just spending all my time into just one test case where maybe that test case, the work effort is so great that it defeats the purpose of automation. Meaning it takes so long just to automate, it's just might as well be manual test case and it'll be easier. So leave it like that. All right. So you have to draw the few lines there in terms of what test cases that you'll be choosing to automate and what test case you'll be choosing to do manual testing. General rules of thumb, if you know what smoke test is and regression test is, then you can use those as a parameter for yourself to say what can be automated. You can also like bypass some of the answers. If you don't have clear answers, you can say, okay, if they're a regression, if they're part of regression, if they're part of smoke, then I will automate them, because those are repeatable, right? We run regression all the time. We run smoke tests all the time. All right. Okay, so now with that said, let's go ahead and automate. The idea is that we can search for as many as keywords. We're gonna do validation here. If the number is greater than a specific number, then we know that it returned the results, and then we go from there. So I would use an Excel or CSV. The reason why I would choose a CSV today, for two reasons. One is that if I put an Excel here, you wouldn't be able to see it, okay? Because now you would have to view it on Excel. But if I put a CSV, you would be able to see what I'm typing. So I'm gonna use the CSV, but the idea is the same for CSV or Excel. They're interacted the same way. So if I was to read the data from CSV, that's the first thing that I probably want to think about. If the data came in CSV, I'll probably put the data into somewhere here, right? So let's say I create a folder and I can say test data, for example, or fixtures, that's what they name. So you can say test data, for example, okay? In this, we have a new file and I can say keywords.csv. CSV, and that's it. So all the keywords will be here in order, right? So we're gonna take one at a time from the top and go from there. So let me actually ask ChatGPT to give me like some keywords. I don't have to write them myself. 1 second. I'm gonna get, for example, I'm gonna get 100 keywords to begin with. You know what? I'm gonna probably get 5, so that way our test doesn't run for a long time. But once we're done, we can increase the numbers of keywords. Okay. So the first thing first, I'm gonna ask, okay, give me 5 Google search keyword in a CSV format. Okay, perfect. I will copy and paste it over there. Here you go. We got the header and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 keywords and a header. I'll probably remove the header, but it's okay. If the header is there, we have to let the CSV, reader know what if it has a header or not. So now, if I was to read the CSV, I can't just access this full file directly here and then use it one by one. I need to be able to read this data. Okay. So for that, because we're using npm, okay, we use package. Okay, we use package manager. I can see if npm has anything that will allow us to read a CSV. So I can just go directly in here and use the Google search, and I can say npm read CSV data, right? CSV, for example. So if I was to read CSV, oh, look at that, 1, 2, 3, and I have more than just one option here for me to use. I'll probably try the very first one, and then go from there. But I can see there is a lot more that people created. These are the libraries, just like Playwright. People create with information, so that way you can use them. So if I go to CSV Parser, the very first one that I found, I can see some examples. Like this is how the CSV looks like. Let's see. Okay. So this is how you're able to create CSV, but I don't want to create it. I want to actually read it, right? So let's see where the read function is. If we don't have it here, I will go to the document. So there is either GitHub or homepage. Either one will give us the information that we need to read data. Okay, so this is CSV. For this, we need to run this for installation. How many people still remember why do we need this command to be run? Anyone remember still?
I was talking
npm CSV Parser.
So to download any package that required to read the CSV file, you put on the terminal, and it should.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and run this, and I want you to pay attention here. Right now, we don't have any package for CSV, so you cannot read CSV. If I open the node module, I don't see any CSV related folder. These are the folder actually allows us to write our code. based on the methods that they provide. So I'll go ahead and run this command. Okay, so it got 13 packages related to CSV. I should probably see something here. CSV parser as a dependency was added 0.3.0. 0.0. If I now go to my node module, I should see CSV somewhere here. Okay, I'm not going to go through the files and folder, but you know that there is a CSV related file was just added because I will now use the package for me to read and write things. Okay. So now the next thing that I need to do, I need to follow the page object, okay, to create some stuff. So for the first one, action, I will create a reader. So that way it can kind of read the CSV file, okay? So I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to, from the very beginning, I'm going to follow page object pattern because we did that before, where we wrote test that file, and then we went ahead and made the changes to make sure that it follows the page object pattern. But for today, I'll just follow that because I assume everybody is up to speed with page object pattern. The new one, I will go ahead and name it. Since we're reading it, we can name relatively, like for example, what can I name? Like a reader, maybe CSV reader.
Can I ask another question while you're here?
Sure.
So as right now you're on a master, right? You didn't do any git pull. That means some of the item that I have is not here, right? And if you do the push right away, is it going to delete the item that I have, or just going to just merge it?
No. It's just gonna merge it. I'll basically make sure that it merges, not delete yours.
Okay, because so it's not going to delete what I have. Okay, got it.
Yeah. It will not. Okay. So we got the keyword CSV, sorry, at our, where is the test data? In our test data, and it already has the keyword. So in order for us to read the CSV, maybe I'll name this as like, I don't know, helper or something like CSV helper, CSV helper.js or CSV reader. Maybe, I mean, I don't know, why am I putting helper? And everything that I'm doing for CSV is applicable to anything. If you're reading a Excel sheet, you would be finding an Excel reader, parser basically, and then you would do exactly what I'm doing. So CSV and Excel very similar. The only difference is that in here, VS Code will be able to show you what's inside of CSV. So I'm using that, but you can choose CSV or Excel, XML, JSON, whatever. Any file format you want to read, you have to have your parser, okay, for that file, for that specific file. So it's not just limited to CSV. So CSV, I will say reader. Okay, so that's that. After that, in order for me to read the CSV, you still need to use system because you need to be able to find where the CSV is. So you have to call something called FS. Okay. Okay, so this is how you would be able to navigate to the file, like in your system. Right, so FS is definitely needed. It is already built in from NPM, from Node.js. So you don't have to install anything for this because this is part of Node.js. Okay. And then we're gonna have to find our CSV. So I can say const maybe like CSV is equal to, now we have to say require. And I can say like CSV parser. It's gonna be exact name as what you installed. So we've got two of these. Okay. The next thing you need to do is that you need to create a function or method that will allow you to maybe read CSV based on the file path. Okay, so this is going to be not limited to just one file. It can be used for any files that you would like. Okay. So now what you can do is that let's say I can say function. I can say read keywords. That's not just a name, right? So read keywords, and here I'm going to put a parameter. So today you'll be learning on also how to pass on a parameter to a function. So right now I have a variable called file path. Okay, so maybe I will be able to provide the file. What is file path is equal to later, but for now this is the placeholder for the file path. Okay, so this is my function completely. So now anything that I write in between, it will do what I ask it to do. So I have to now create the code that will do something for me. Okay, so the next thing I can do is that I can say return new, and then in this case, it is gonna probably look like, you know, a lot of Java for you, but so we can say promise right here as part of, sorry, JavaScript basically, and then resolve. Okay, I'll explain all this in a minute. Let me just get to the point. We're gonna use the error function in this case, and let's go ahead and open up this one right here. I'm gonna open this space for me to start writing some code. So the first thing is gonna say let is keyword. So keywords is equal to, like, so basically we're gonna be pulling all the keywords and put it into like an array or something. So let's say this is your array. Right now it's empty, but we're gonna go ahead and put all the keyword from the array. So first thing, fs dot, I will say the method that it comes in. So when you say fs, you'll see like there is so many methods, right? So the one that we need is this is read file sync. It has a function, but also, you know, we have functions for writing as well, right? So I'm gonna use create read stream right here for us to read the file that we'll be providing, but also you can write a CSV. You can actually, if you were to ask create a file at the end of the test and give you some data, like for example, if you create a new user and you want to put username and password into a file, you would be able to use the second method. Okay, once that is done, it does take a parameter. The parameter is that if you're gonna go ahead and read a file, you need to provide the file path. Right now we have a temporary path right there, okay? This is called function parameter. This is the parameters that we'll put it here. And this is the path that we'll be reading. Now, once it reads, I want to do something, you know, I may want to now say, you know, I want to use the function pipe. So let's look at the pipes. Pipe is basically, we'll take a parameter, and then in that case, you will say what kind of data we're dealing with. So in this case, CSV we're dealing with. So I'll put that in there. And then I will say on, basically, let me just finish the function, then we can go on go over once again. And then in this case, I'm going to say data. Does it already looks alien to you guys so far? So like I said, you don't do the homework, this is where you're going to be at some point, and now we're dealing with this, right? Anyway, so data, we're going to take the data, okay, and then we're going to say, by the way, all of these you could have, if you, as a starter, you could actually get this from outside world also. So say you can say something like, you can actually look into right here, create read stream. Okay, this is the path, but I'm not hard coding the path. Okay, so we're using this as an example because I'm not gonna ask you to memorize this. So the question is where this is coming from. It'll be the API that you're using. This is the homepage that they have, then it's perfectly fine for you to see how to use it. Even a developer, when they use a new library, they have to go to, you know, the documentation and find out how to use it, because not everybody's going to memorize how things works. So we got the read stream, we got the pipe CSV, we got so far, you know what, I should just copied this on my typing, but then you're not gonna learn, okay? So So then we got the data part right here. Okay. So after the data, we have to apply this pipe. Okay. I'm going to use the results. RESULTS. Okay. In this case, we're going to say keyword. You know why? Because in our case, we're not, you see like how they created empty. What is this that we're calling right now, guys? Don't answer to me. What is this that we declare here? Galina. So we wrote that, in our case, we wrote it right here with a different name. So what is this that we declared here? Okay, anybody other than Tarian can answer?
The result?
What about these? We
Is that a
declare something, right?
parameter?
This is assignment. So this is not a parameter. You assign something to the word result. In
Function.
JavaScript, this is no. In JavaScript, this is an array. We did the last class, right? Array. Yeah. So this array has nothing in it. It's empty for now. Okay, so you declaring an array so that way later you can have access to the results. From here, it will start to, enter data to your array. So in our case, we declared a new name for keywords because we're working specifically with keywords. So I'll name it specifically as keywords. And then we can say keywords.push. Remember array we're pushing? Remember the word push we did last class? Who remembers? Anybody remember? We're gonna push the data. We're gonna say data dot keyword. Okay, the keyword is coming from the keywords. Okay. Okay. This is what we're pushing. Okay, let's see. It's gonna be probably a long single line. The next one is gonna be on, and I'll probably like put it down here. So the next thing we need to do is that the on part and then on end. Okay, so I'm not copying it because then it's gonna be hard to go through them. So we got the end, and then we're gonna say this exactly what I'm seeing over there. I'm not coming up with this out of my mind. We're gonna open up a little bit here, and then we can probably, like in the beginning, we can probably just in this case it's just logging it, it's just printing it. Okay, so for us, we're not gonna print it, we're gonna put it back to the array called keywords. Okay, and it will return the keywords because that's the return statement we have. It will return this thing. Okay, so in here I will say that resolve, and that's the result right there. Now we are using finally, and then we're gonna say resolve the keywords from here. Okay, keywords. Okay, so that's that. Let's see. We're probably missing some stuff here. Let's see if I can do it like this. Maybe break it down everywhere that we have, just like what I see on the left side. Okay, so I just want to see what am I missing. Maybe we're missing an extra. I'll put that down here. Okay, I'll end these two. Okay, let's see, what did I miss in here? So we got the end. I'm gonna open data dash. Okay, we missed something here. Data is gonna be data. Okay, so right here that nobody's paying attention to. Right here, we missed this. Okay, so now it's gonna return the right thing. So this is our helper function that we just created, and this should read data. Okay, this should actually read data for us. Okay, any questions so far? So if I use this method, it will now read something for me from the Excel, and then it will put it into, it will go ahead and put it into the keyword as an array. And I will use that to, go through one at a time, because array is what? It's in order, right? Is this an array? This is an empty array, correct? Now, the
Yes.
keywords one at a time will be something like this. Let's say this is the first keyword. This is the second one. Let's say D. This is the C. And it will just basically build out this array for us one at a time. We'll probably start from top. We can choose where do we want to stop. For this one, we're going to start from the top. Okay, so then we got the function ready. Okay, so now let's write some test cases. But before we do that, we also want to write, objects, action objects, right? So I will go to my action. I'll create another file, and I'm going to say something like Google search page object, right? Which is this .js, enter. And then let's start writing some stuff. I would say this is a class, and it has to be the same exact name, right? Google search page. Okay. We did that. And then we can do module exports. Anything that I write here, I can export, so I can say, so I can call it somewhere else. Okay, so I can say module, remember this, we did this. Exports, and then it's going to be equal to the same exact name. Okay, so the very first one that we will write is a constructor. Remember, like if I go into any of these, notice we got the constructor, right? And we have all this. So export and everything, we'll do it as we need. Not everything we're going to need from here. So we'll probably need this one, remember, because we need the page. Oh, where's my Google search page? So I'll go ahead and put it right there. We need the page there. And then we'll go back. I'll get the constructor. It's just a, so we can use this .page. Go back to Google. Okay, so it's aligned there. And now I can go ahead and write my method. So the first one I can write something like, remember we did this before, I think, and I can say search for keyword. So the first one I need that will go and search, right? And then maybe I'll need something that will actually go to the Google page, and so on. So let's see. So the first one, maybe go to Google, right? Let's do go to Google. And I'll create reusable one, right? Go to something, right? I'm saying that go to URL. Let's just say that, okay? It's generic, whatever. I'll put this as a parameter of my function, okay? Now I can say something like this, and I'm not even going to put Google URL here, and it will still do what I ask it to do. So I can say this dot page, okay, dot go to URL.
Aren't you gonna
That's
put a weight in front of it or no?
Good. I was gonna ask next for you guys. Like, should I be putting that? And the answer is yes, you have to. Otherwise, it's gonna do the work. It's not gonna tell you if it did it or not, right? Okay, so we got that. That's one just to go to. Okay, let's just go back and we'll probably like put the locators on the locator thing, but let's create our test, right? So let's see, what should I name? Oh, this is I'll move that to the side. Features. Who's writing these folders? Okay. I'll go ahead and create a new file, and I'm gonna say Google, maybe lowercase, search test, okay, dot spec.js. Okay, done. The first thing first I will do, because remember, we have to use the word test, remember? I could have just copy pasted, but let's type. That's the first test, and if we go to require, by now this should be like in your heart. So as you can see, we got so many options here. Which one do we need? The third one seems like the one that I need. We also have to make sure that
So
we're calling.
I have another question here. What's the difference between require and from? Like import from, they're the same thing? Like it is.
It depends what version of JavaScript you're using. Sometimes you'll see like, from is working, but then if you using the latest version, it will say, okay, for complying with the, standard with the ES6, it will be this way.
Okay.
But they're essentially the same way to deal with.
Got it.
Okay, so the next one is Google search page. Remember, we created somewhere here. So we're gonna create that. Google search page. I didn't say action, so I just say Google search because I think we already have like an action right there. So Google search with capital, and then I'm gonna say require. You guys remember?
Yep.
Require single, and then now I have to know how to get this. So I'm gonna start with double, right? So you can step over, and then I can see, page object dash, and then I see, okay, where should it be? Action dash. Which one do I need in this case? This one, right? Okay, good. So we got that already. So now I know that I have access to the methods that I created. So I'll be using that method. So let's just initially write some test. We also need keywords because keywords is coming from another place. So we'll do that in a bit. But for now, let's go ahead and describe the tests. Okay, test dot describe. Okay, and then I'll say Google search test, for example, right? That's my test. In this case, here is this test doesn't take any parameter for now, but I will put that as an empty to an error function there. Okay, and then we'll start our brace. That's the code block. So now we can do a lot of things like before and all this stuff. So in this case, let's see what example test. Okay, we'll probably stick to the simple. So I'll just do the test instead of grouping it because we're not grouping the test. Okay.
So
I'll
test
just go ahead and
test was the different, like one of them I'm grouping, I'm having multiple tests under test describe.
right.
And
If you're creating a suite of tests, we're just creating one. If you're creating a suite of tests, you can actually use the describe.
Test describe.
So now, so now we got the tests. I'm just looking at the example just to be simplifying our life here. I think we do need the test and expect, so we can put some. I don't know if we put this already, but let's copy this, save some time.
I don't think you did the expect. You just did test.
Yeah. Okay. So we got both expect and test, right? So the next thing is that we have to create the instance of this class so we can have access to.
Sorry, I'm sorry about that. I have another question. On line number 1, I noticed that, like, for example, test is brighter where expect is not bright. What's the difference?
Okay, I'm surprised you didn't catch that yet. You should be automatically be able to find out. When you're not using something, it will be grayed out. That means you're not using. So for example, I'm not using number 2. I can choose to take it out. Right. So like if you're doing a pull request and your coworker noticed that something is there but it's not used, you'll say, why is it there? And you can say like, oh, because that's what every test is. That's not the right answer. If it's not used, you
Okay.
don't need it. You just remove it.
So if it's not,
so
if it's darker, like not brighter, it means it's not used. Right now, on line number
exactly,
one,
you can
expect.
hover over it. Look, you can
Okay.
hover over it. It says it's
Okay.
declared, but its value is never a read. So what's the point? You know, it's not even, this never executes. This code never executes.
Got it.
Okay, so then let's start by, you know, creating an object of our class, right? So we can have access to all the objects within that class. We're creating an instance, sorry. So I'm gonna do lowercase. I mean, you can name whatever you want, honestly, but I like to do uppercase for the path and calling the path into to create the instance. I usually do lowercase, the same exact one. Okay, so if you didn't catch that before, now you know.
So if
And
I
I'll
do
go ahead
both
and
if I do both now, line number 2 Google lowercase and 6 lowercase, it wouldn't make any difference, right?
then no, you can go the other way. You can do uppercase one or lowercase. It just have to be different. One is, there are two different kind. Okay, this one is
Okay.
just finding the file. Okay, nothing else. This is locating and nothing else.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna use the new keyword, as you guys by now already know that, and I'm gonna call the same exact one. You see, it's now highlighted. It requires it requires the page, correct? And now you see, like, this page has to come from somewhere, but I don't have page here, right? It was not going to create any issue. So if you look at it right here, we're calling the page, you know? Okay, so the page has to be within. So now your test is not going to run if you don't have the page in the right places. Okay, so nobody called it out. So this page I'm using, but I don't have the page here. Okay, so that's the problem that you'll see. And those kind of problems are hard to fix, because if you make this kind of mistake and you don't know, it's gonna be like, it's gonna give you some random answers or random results, like, oh, okay, something else happened. It's never gonna tell you the exact situation what happened, right? So you just have to make sure that you know this. Okay, so let's call our first method, right? So dot, oh, it says go to URL. Wow, okay, that's good. So now if I was to go to the URL, I didn't put Google anywhere, Google URL anywhere. So the only explanation is that we can pass it on here. How do I know if I can pass something here? If I click on it, it says this method requires, okay, let's see. This method requires an URL. Okay, and it doesn't return anything. It returns nothing. It just does the work for you, and that's it. It will just do the work for you, but it will not return anything. But it does require an URL. So okay, fine. We'll put a string in there as an URL. Single quote, as you know, unless you need to do double quotes. I'm gonna go back in here. I'm gonna type Google, and you'll notice that I have copied the URL rather than typing, because I know how to type Google, but I still copied it because I want to make sure I'm not breaking the URL how it is, right? HTTPS and all that stuff. I don't want to break that.
Do we also have to declare the let variables?
For what? For the URLs?
For this test case, it let you on the other test case, it did let home page action whatever, or login page action.
This right here?
Yeah.
So it really depends, right? It depends. So if you think something will change, like let's say you have more than one test case and you want to use the same class that you created an instance of it, then you have to put it outside, so you have access to everything else. So for you to put everything outside, I can put it outside if you want. So I can copy this and I can select this, okay, and then done. What I just did is that here I said, okay, this variable, keep in mind, I will put the value whenever I feel free, right? Whenever I can, but I just created a variable. This is called instance variable. This variable do not have any value right now, but now I come to this specific code and I said, okay, I'm going to assign this guy to this guy. So now it has the value. Now, if I create another test case, hold on. Let's say this is my test case number 2. And now look, it's fine, it's working, right? If this was inside of it, because of this bracket right here, this code block would not share the information that is inside here. Okay, if you're doing constant variable. So that the access level is different. If you put it outside, you will have access to all of the test cases that you're writing. Okay. Now that this happened, let's actually run it. If it works, then we go into the CSV portion of it, because we also want to use the keywords. We have to basically call the keyword and function and be able to use the keyword as well. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and run this. At least I want to
Do you
know
need
that
to
up
put
until
await in front of the Google search page?
exactly, we need to put await. We definitely have to put await on this. So let's see. Not for the instance variable, but for this. And it would probably fail if I didn't. Hold on a second. I think await expression only allowed a sync function. Okay, so we do have a sync function. So now we see where is complaining, right? That means if we go back into one of our tests right here. So we got the async right here, as you can see, right? But on my test, we don't have async. And I'm trying to give you guys some direction here because not everything you'll remember. So await is complaining that, okay, await can be used only if you have async somewhere. So this function right here, technically a function, do not have async. That's complaining. So I'm going to go ahead and put that async right there. And boom, it's no longer complaints. Okay, so let's run it. And thank you for calling out, because I know that some of you guys are paying attention. All right, so let's go ahead and run it. Who remembers the commands, guys? Come on.
Playwright test, and then the name of the test case.
Sorry, test and test slash something, right? Google, lowercase Google search test dot spec dot js. And maybe I want to see this, so I'm going to put edit. Let's run it. Oh, okay. First try, it worked. I mean, I don't expect my test case or anything that I write first try works. I don't mind going back and fixing it. So just get the habit of it. Nothing will work on the first try. Okay, so then we have this. That's good. Now we also have CSV. So let's first read all the data from CSV and print them out, print it out here somewhere in the console. So we know that at least printing those CSV is working. We did create a CSV somewhere here, like CSV reader. Where is it? Action CSV reader right there. Okay, so now, okay, let's see. You gotta call that, and this is actually in here. This is a function. We didn't export it. Okay, so okay, so we'll call the function so I'm gonna give it a name, const, because it's a function, only function is in there, so we don't have to. So I'm gonna say const. I'll say CSV reader is equal to this should be a name relatively. So this should pretty much give us the keyword. Okay, is equal to require. So we have to find where that is, right? Single quote dot slash is in action slash. I need to see where my C. Oh, is it in action?
I think so. You put it under the action file.
Yeah. 1 second.
Oh no, you're missing. It should be a POM. I'm sorry, a page object.
Oh, okay. See. Thank you. Let's see. So here dot because this is a different location, right? So dot dot, and then I am already seeing action and locator. Okay, so page object. I don't know why it's showing here, but this is the suggestion that I'm getting is wrong. So I'm gonna have to put another
No.
dot dot slash. Now I'm outside. Now I have access to page object.
Can
You
I?
know what just happened here, right?
Yeah, yes, I have a question on this one. This one, it should
Okay.
work under action because the CSV file reader is, because you're updating the CSV reader right now, it's under the same folder as the action.
But then it's
No?
not, but then you're calling it from test folders, right?
No,
Test
it's-
folder is not even inside of the, you know what I'm saying? Page
Okay.
object is outside. Page object folder is by itself. And
Okay.
test is another folder. So,
Okay.
but your IDE is giving you false hope, right? Meaning like it gives you some suggestion here, but these are not the one. The IDE is trying to help you, but it's not the one.
So you are trying
Because you're
to
calling it from a completely different folder,
got
right?
it.
The reason here why you don't need to do another dot dot is because you're calling it from the same directory, maybe, right? You're in the similar directory. So in here, when you put one dot dot, you're saying, okay, one folder, and then as you get the second folder, you're basically going back a folder, basically. And then you have your page object after that, because test is not inside of anything, but test is outside, just like page object. Okay, they're in the same level.
No,
Maybe I can do this if they're in the same.
But my question, this is the CSV reader, this file located under the page object model, under action. No?
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, page object.
Okay.
And then it's action right there. Now, okay, 1 second. I can probably also do this. Dot slash. Dot slash. And I got the Google search. Okay, all this stuff. This is coming from itself. Okay. When you do dot, it's coming from the wherever I am. When you do double dot, it goes back to a folder. And then you can do another dot dot slash. You get yourself to the page object. Again, if you don't understand, just
So every time you do dot, it just go back one folder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Google search. I'm trying to see if, okay, so then okay, what's happening there? I don't see the CSV.
No, Jewel, you are in CSV file. You are editing the CSV reader.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you.
That's what I was confused about.
Oh yeah. Okay, but this was a test though, and you passed. Everybody else, guys, come on, pay attention. Look, I'm having a rough day because I had a release to this morning, no, this afternoon, and then yesterday, same thing. Worked hard for the release. But you guys have to pay attention. Tell me what I'm doing wrong, all right? So like right here, so where we have, where's my test file? This is a test file, and I want to call it right here. God, come on, all this time wasted. It's a good learning, right? Const, also read keyword, maybe keywords. Read keywords is equal to require. Okay, so dot slash page object slash action slash CSV reader. Boom. Okay, so we got the CSV reader right here. And this is the whole time I was losing my mind. Like, why this is not even working? Okay. So now that we have this, we should be able to call it right here, and then console log what we see. Okay. And then we go from there. So to call this initially, I can say, if I want to print, I'll put the keywords outside. So let's keyword, because we're going to return all the stuff. And again, this is going to pull something, so I'm going to put it outside. I can say keywords is equal to await. Now I can apply await here because I already have the async. I can say read keywords. Okay. And then this requires up let me see actually get rid of that. This okay. CSV, okay, sorry, CSV reader, that's fine. So read keywords. This is the function that we're pulling from that file. And then we got to put the file path. So the easiest thing you can do to pull the file path, you have to know where that is, which is in our case, we have a test data. Let's see, this is the test data file. And then I will go ahead and now copy the relative path. There is different ways. So we got the copy path, relative path, and remote URL, all that stuff. But we just need the relative path for now. Okay, so then I'll also test to make sure that path works because I'm on a different directory. There is a chance it will not work and I have to go and fix it. So why is the test data inside here? That's my question. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to put it like outside like everybody else. Move. Okay, so now I'm going to copy my relative path. Now, if I go back to my Google search, I can enter this path right here. Okay, let's see if it found it. I mean, I think what I need to do, that's the relative path from there. Okay. That's fine. Let's give it a try. You know, like doesn't hurt. Console dot log keywords basically. But then we probably want to print one by one, right? So let's do that before we do this. And then remember, you guys, how did we do array? You guys remember array? We got a for loop. For keyword of key words. You guys remember? And this is gotta be like a let or const or something, right? I mean, let is probably the way to go. I can do const console.log. I'll do keyword to print the keyword. Okay. It prints nothing. That means it didn't work. We just have to use it to fix it. I don't expect it to work, but let's see. Perfect. It didn't work, which is good. Okay, so now I just want to read what is wrong with it. So it says await keyword something something. Okay, keyword is not a function, so that means he's not able to read it. Okay, it's not able to read it. So I'm gonna go ahead and export it. You know, that's just probably better off because I was trying to do it the other way. Where is my CSV, whatever? So I'm gonna have to create a class just the way that we did. So I guess it's better to just go ahead and follow the same. Oh, why there's like, okay. Did somebody push this? Okay, so now if I go into this, you can see that I have a class declared, and then I am just doing the export. In this case, I don't need the page, so I may not need to do any sort of constructor, but let's see. Oh, I may have to do this too. Okay. Let's go to CSV reader. Let's create a class. Equal to CSV CSV reader. This is the function that goes inside. X out, paste it in here. And if I go back in here, you guys didn't catch this right here. Okay, the function is not needed. We can just do async. The function word is not necessary. Oh, what am I doing? Okay, so we got the async. We just need the export now. Module dot exports equal to something, right? CSV reader. Okay, good. So we got that over there. Now we have to actually create the, you guys know what, right? What do I have to do here to be able to use these keywords? What do I have to do here, guys? Come on, come on, come on. Use the, so I gotta basically, I can just grab this, but I want to give the same name. So I can kind of match with what I have, you know, same flavor. And then this doesn't require any page or anything. We good. Now we get the CSV reader. We can say something like this. Dot this, and you can see read keywords. Boom. Oh, just paste it again. And that's it. And that's it, done. Okay, so now let's run it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll get a better message than this time. You know, so, and we just have to make it work. First, if I was able to read the data from the CSV, then maybe now I can actually do a few things with it, right? So now, as you can see, it read everything from it, right? So now what I can do, I can basically start my steps from here. Since we already went to Google page and we are already in Google, the next thing is the searching, right? So maybe for searching, I'll create a, okay, method. Who can help me with this? Search keyword, for example, right? And it takes something like a word or keyword or whatever. It does take a keyword to search, okay? So we're creating a reusable, again, function. We got the await these dot page. What should be done next, guys? Come on, come on. Let's do it. Anybody else other than Time can speak? Come on. We did this so many times. It's gonna be the easiest class today. And then the homework is gonna be the hardest because you'll have to do this. Plus the last homework. So I don't want to pile things up. Okay. So let's say const. I'm going to create a variable, you know, give it as basic name. I'm going to say search box, Google search box, whatever is the case. If the search box is equal to this, I'm referring to this, okay? And if I'm referring to this, I can say page dot what?
Locator.
Locator, okay. Everybody else, are you guys here today? This is something that if you did the homework, you would be able to at least help me with this little thing, right? Now the locator has to come from locator class, sorry, locator file.
We have to create a locator file.
Exactly. But for the time being, I'll leave it here. You know what? No, I'm not gonna leave it here. Because then you guys will get confused later when I do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and create.
So
Looks like
if
we
you
have a
don't
Google
mind,
page.
I just want to clarify. Why we created two file, Google page action and Google search page is just these two are different. So what's the difference between two?
So the Google
Well-
page action, it was created by somebody else. Jules, it's just there.
Yeah.
We're not using that. So we're only using
Yeah.
Google search page and we're using the CSV reader. That's it. The action page, just pretend is not there.
Yeah.
So action is not related to this.
It is not.
This is, I will delete this because looks like somebody pasted an actual, you know,
Mhm.
test, the entire test into a method. Okay. I'll remove it for now, and then I'll probably remove it from the
Mhm.
remote also. Okay, I don't want to remove it because there are tests maybe maybe using these methods, and I don't know. I've set the test just now, but I'll remove it at the end. So just for the time being, just concerned about this, not the other one. Yeah, imagine this is not here. So we go to the locator. I can see there is a locator for Google. So I'll just probably edit here. I don't want to create another file. So I'm gonna now find here something that I need to use. This is the search bar. This is the search input. Okay, Google label search. So I'm gonna use this. Okay, so I can go ahead and use this if I want to. But then let me see if I go to comment.js. Okay, so we're doing things differently. So let's go ahead and just create a new one for this specific test. I don't want to confuse no one. So I'm
That's
gonna
what I was going to
say
ask.
Google.
Why that locator file looks so different than what we are
This
used
is
to.
yeah, this is done probably by okay. This is my fault. This is done first in a different flavor
Okay.
behind you guys. You guys should never see this. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this one. Okay, I'm gonna actually let me clean up a little bit. Okay, let me just remove this. This is just don't get confused. This is another flavor of creating this, doing the same thing. I'll go ahead and remove these two action to the trash, and then we're all
There's a
good. You
test.
see, like now Google page test, it's just gonna be removed also. So this is probably I was showing something to somebody else, but anyways. So now we're all squared away, right? You guys, so far you create a CSV reader where you have a function that reads CSV. Okay, we didn't do anything from our mind. We just went to the page. We got the whole thing from that CSV reader page, and that's it. Okay, we're just passing a file, and it works that way. Then we have the Google search page where we're just creating the methods. The first one is to just visit. The second one is to, type a keyword. So for that to happen, we need a locator. For the locator, I will create, let me rename this real quick. Google page, maybe, right? Right, .js. In here, we're gonna specify, just like this one's, how to, like, pretty much like the way that we are doing it for the last few homeworks, right? So then we're gonna say const, I can say Google page. Okay, and then we're gonna export this. Export, module exports dot exports is equal to Google page, right? Google page, okay. Nothing new. This is the same way that we're doing it here, as you can see, and we use the const, we use the module export, and the same thing. So just like that, we're gonna be now assigning a value. So search box.
You are missing Google page equal.
Oh, damn, okay, right there. Thank you. I'm missing a semicolon too. So the search box, I'm gonna say search box locator. I'm gonna name it more like readable, okay? Locator, and then we go from there, and then a single code. How do I locate this one? Somebody tell me. I'm gonna inspect for you. It opened up a separate. You can actually put it separately if you like, but I'm gonna put it back where the way it was. You can make things more smaller if you want to, but click on this. Boom. All right, now tell me, what should I do in here?
You have options ID, you have options XPath, you have option of
Best one
locator.
is name equal to Q.
So you got the name is equal to Q as an option. You have ARIA label as an option, I can see. You have the ID as an option. The ID, I'm suspicious of the ID. I feel like this changes every time. Okay, so when you see something strange, that means it's probably gonna change at some point. You got the ARIA label. I like ARIA label because they're always one of a kind on the page for accessibility reasons. And then also the title. Sometimes, the title is also one of a kind. Name, you have to double check if it's one of a kind or not. But name is equal to Q. I'll also probably stay away from using like a single digit here. So let's say we want to do, you also have type. So maybe take the ARIA label. I mean, ARIA label is very reliable, honestly. I've been using that for some time. So if I go ahead and do my, this is 1 of 1, right? Okay, this is pretty reliable. I'll go ahead and copy this and paste it over and done. Okay. So now if I, where's under us? So if I was to use this, you guys already know we have to call it like this, the entire class. And as you can see, it's only a single folder up, so we don't have to go with double dots. So the action, I just have to say something like const locators. I'll just put the single. I mean, you can do whatever you want with the naming. So like, I'll say Google locators, maybe. I don't know. How many people are getting this so far? Anybody here that feels that this is too much right now? Like at least writing the part of the test. In this case, we're gonna be page object now, right? Let me see. Let me go back to the path. I don't wanna.
It should be locator.
Okay, locator. Okay. So then. Oh, okay, locators right there. Slash Google page right there. Okay. We got that. And we need to put the locator. Do I need the double quote here for this locator to be called? So that you tell me. Nobody else answered this. Do I need the double quote or do I not need the double quote here?
I think you don't need double quote, I believe.
Why? I think you do. Can somebody tell me who's right, me or him?
I think you don't.
I think Shubha is correct. You don't need the locator. You need, the first thing you need is the locator file name and then dot locator.
Okay, but
Instead
tell
of
me why.
quotation.
Change my mind.
Because you are actually calling a file and the item inside the file. So that's why you don't need the double
So-
quote.
Exactly, but you know, if I'm using this, which is already predefined, this is already known, right? It doesn't need a code because remember, when you put anything inside of code, what it becomes? String. And that's it. If it's string, it's gonna be taking as is. Okay, so far with all this time spent, we have located the element. Okay. Before I do anything, I just want to be safe. Okay, if I located the search box, I'm gonna say go ahead and wait for the search box. Okay, let's just first go very soft, with the, with our element. So element is there, it's gonna wait for at some point, it's 30 seconds, up to 30 seconds. But will it wait exactly 30 seconds? What if the element was found in the first second? What will happen?
It will wait up to 30 seconds, not wait till 30 seconds. What this means, if it finds within 2 seconds, it will just continue.
Good. Okay, so if I was to type something on the search box, okay, the first line number 17, just make sure it's wait up to that many, seconds. But then if I want to type something here, what should I use? So that what method do I use from Playwright that will allow us to type something? You want me to Google it for you? Hold on, I'll go to the playwright.dev. Anybody else remember? If I go to the doc and I want to type
Should
something,
be-
whatever.
Wait, Phil?
You got the fill. Oh,
Mm.
looks like this.
Cool.
Okay. So now I can say fill
Don't you
because it's
put
already
wait weight in front of search?
Yep. You have to put a weight on all of them. Everybody else is still catching up. Okay, good. Search.fill, and then it requires something inside. So what should I put in here? I'll give you a clue. If you look at this function, and then you look in this function, what should I be typing? Remember, my keywords is not even coming from here. It's going to come from somewhere else. It's going to come from a CSV.
So it should be the I'm this is just a guess. It should be the CSV action, or it should be the data, the test data. One of those two. I'm not sure.
What should I put in here again? Remember parameters, we talked about it. So somehow we put, look, go to URL takes URL param, okay? The temporary value from here to here, right? And the reason why this is working and going to Google is because if I go back in here into our Google search, you see that go to URL, instead of an URL now, it has a value
can put into the test class.
Say it again.
We can put into the test class.
The class.
No, I mean,
you know, it is expecting a string, correct? The fill method, let me see what it takes. If I click on fill, I think I shouldn't, okay, let me go back in here to playwright.dev, and it will tell me like what does the fill method, right? Action fill, right? For example, locator.fill, what does it happen? So if I do fill the form input text, it's requiring a text. As you can see, fill, and it requires a string. See arguments right here, value should be a string. It could be, there are some other options, but string is the primary required items that it needs. Okay, this is the required. And there are some optionals also.
So for our case, the fill is not static, it's dynamic, because it will change based on the data, right?
Mm-hmm. So what should I put it in there?
Can you click on the CSV reader file if you don't mind?
It has no relation.
No relation? Oh, okay.
No relation
so
right now.
I just want to say we can declare in the test class.
Where is the test class? So okay, I get it. I get you. So you're saying we can put those in the test class, but then we still have to put something here, like as a placeholder. Otherwise, it's gonna think it's empty. So we still need a placeholder for the moment, because we're putting everything from the test class. Like you're right, for example, right? But then we have to have some placeholder for the moment, right? I mean, do you guys see a clue here on line number 12?
Yeah, string any name that we can call in the test class.
It cannot be any name. It cannot be any name. How many people do not see line number 12? Tell me. You're looking at somewhere else. You're maybe watching a TV, doing some other chores, whatever is the case. Line number 12. Do you guys see it? Any correlation, any relation, anything that you can take and say, okay, if it's this, it must be this.
Yeah, so in 12 we can see the URL. It's a name that we call in the URL in the test class. So maybe we need to put the same thing with the name.
So
is it going to be keyword?
It's gonna be keyword, and why? Okay, let's just do a rational thinking. If I see there's an URL was here, and then there is no exact string or nothing, but it was just passed on here as a parameter, as you can see. Okay, so that means this function that I wrote, it takes something.
So is the keyword
like URL?
Keyword?
Right. And so let me explain. So you guys are there, already got it. But now this URL, if the correlation here is that this is URL and this is also URL, because this function takes something to give you something. This takes an URL and goes to the URL. It's void, right? This one is also void. It does something, but then it also takes something to do something. So this one is a search keyword. In order for it to search, it takes a keyword, right? And this is a temporary placeholder, because the moment you're using this function, you'll be entering the keyword there at the moment. And then it will replace this one with the value that you entered at the moment. Whenever you're using this, remember, we're going to be using this by calling this class. And then when you're using this method from the class, it will say, hey, can you enter something? Then I will use it. You cannot just pass a keyword again, right? It's already a option for this function. You're putting an option in the function to say, okay, somebody who wants to use this, they have to put something for this function to work, for this function to, give you something in return. So for example, keyword is declared, but right now it's never used because we have to use it, right? And the value is going to come from wherever we're going to be using this specific function. Okay, so let's go and use it. Let's go and use this. Okay. So, so we got two methods, guys, so far. Okay. And I'm going to use it inside of here. The first one is to locate our element. So I'm going to probably do that here. I'm going to move all the stuff outside. So this is the keyword. So I'm going to move it up there somewhere so we get things out of the way. Okay. And this is the actual test. So we went there first. Then we're going to say await our Google search page. Dot. After that, we're going to look for search keyword because that's what we want to write. And then if we want to write something, we would have to now enter the value here. So let's say we want to do one at a time. That has to be inside here because the one keyword at a time it will return. This is specific for loop. Okay, unless we want to directly use the the array. Okay, so we're gonna put it right here so we can do one at a time. I'm gonna paste it, and I'm going to say use this keyword because it's gonna be one at a time, and I put it right here. Okay. Now it sounds a little bit confusing because this is also the same name. So I'm gonna change this name to say ELE, which stands for elements. Okay. So this is I'm gonna say each one. Okay. So this is the element inside of the keyword, which is gonna go one by one. Okay. So this function is this for loop is basically going to one by one, and it will start. Okay. So let's see how this works. It's probably not going to work as intended because it's going to type again and again, but we have to also complete the function, which is not completed at this moment. So we're going to go ahead and run it just to see what it is. Okay, let's see. Console.log is the problem. Okay, why? Line number 18.
He didn't change the keyword to ELE.
Okay, because we renamed it and we didn't change it. Okay, good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it one more time. And let's see what happens. Boom. And it typed, it was super quick, right? It typed it and it's like super quick. But we didn't have any results, right? Like it just typed it, we didn't do anything. So how can we change that and fix this test? So as a human, if you go to Google and you type something once, nothing happened. And you type again, nothing happened. So this is exactly what the automation did. So what do we need here to make sure that we get to the results page? Okay, what do we do next? There are a few options.
One of them is enter. One of them is enter. One of them is click on the search button after you type it.
Right here. Okay.
No,
okay,
the one
so
next
I'll go
to it.
with the first. Yeah, I'll go with the enter because I think majority of the user will do enter. Right. So we'll do the keyboard enter. How many people remember to do keyboard enter? So I'm going to go into this definition that we have. We're going to do as part of, this is the locator. Let me go in there. So we're going to basically do it as part of this, right? So we're going to say await search box, and we will enter directly from search box. What should I do? Okay, I don't expect you to remember this, so let's go in here. Let's search because you have to learn to use this also. It's called keyboard navigation, whatever is the case. Keyboard press, right? So if I do keyboard press, you see I have so many options here. So if I do, it says page.keyboard.press A. right? So all I can do is press, and put like enter in there. Okay, so. I wonder if it's gonna work. I think. Okay, let's see. We have to mention keyboard. Let's see. What is the? I have to see how to use this. We're not doing the. I just want to see page or keyboard or type. Blah blah blah. Okay. Keyboard up. So. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt to use the keyboard class directly, but let's see. Page dot. What? Oh, where are we? Okay, yeah, this dot page. Okay. Page and then dot keyboard dot press and then enter. Okay, so let's just see what happens. And then it should be doing one at a time. But also it's gonna have a problem with the locator, because when the page changes after entering, it goes into a separate page. This locator is no longer going to be valid. So we're gonna see one test pass, and then one time it will pass, the second time it will not pass. That's what I'm expecting. It has to do enter and boom. So let's see. Wait for, so it's no longer have the wait for, okay? It's no longer, finds that element. Okay, the second time it no longer finds it. So we can just go ahead and make that a let, okay? So now it can actually replace itself and find the locator. But also, before we go there, we gotta see after entering something here, okay, if this locator has the same exact name, because we want to type it there too, okay? So, because remember, when it goes to this page, we don't know if he's gonna have the same exact one. Let's see, area label, maybe we can use the same area, expand. We got the area level search. Okay, so it does have the same one, okay? So this, right now, it should work. Because we have a let, it will change the value of this at the moment. Search box should have a refined value. So let's see. So now you see the importance of having a variable with different level of access. Oh, still didn't find it. Probably gonna say stale element. Okay. So the second time it's having a problem looking for that element. Okay, let's see. Violation mode, right? Error, wait for strict locator. Resolve to 2 elements. Whoa. Okay. That's pretty good to know, right? There is 2 elements that have the same. So I wonder where is the other one coming from, honestly. Is there any other search in there? So let me see first if my locator is okay. So I'm gonna copy this locator real quick, and I'm gonna see why there's 2 in this page, okay? Oh, I just did some crazy stuff in here. Okay, let me see, control. Find area label search. Okay, so one page it has only 1, and the other page has 2. Oh, look at that. Boom. There is 2. One is a button, and the other one is called text area. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and distinguish this. I gotta find exactly what is different. So maybe the name would be better. So let's see, actually, Control C. If the name is equal to Q, it is only 1 of 1. Even the name is Q is okay, 2. Okay. So I have to probably put text area in the front. So I can do something like this. I can go back to area level. I know what type of thing is this. So text area. Okay, I know it's 1 of 1 now because of the text area tag that I'm using. Now the question is if anybody confused what I just did, right? I'm just getting the tag name and putting it in the front. So it made it unique, but I want to also make sure the Google page itself has the same text area. Otherwise, we're gonna have a failure. Text area is the same. So now we are all in sync. I gotta go back to my locator and change that. Okay, so the only thing I did is I added text area and it made it unique on both pages. You just have to find your locator to be unique in both cases in this case. I don't know if you at work, you're going to face the same issue, but let's go ahead and run this test. Where's my test? Google search. Okay. Got it. Okay. Good. So notice is like very quick, right? Just ran through it. It's just super quick. Maybe we're gonna do an UI to this so we can actually see like frame by frame. Okay, Google search, click on run. Okay, it went there. Then it came here. It found it. Keyboard press. Okay, it came in here. Field. So one at a time, you can see one field, and then this was the first one. Field and enter. I think all of them. This was the last one that it was entered, I believe. Okay, so it didn't even wait for the result, as you can see. There is no waiting for the results. So we have to now add another function that will now give you the count, right? So we have to know how many is in there. We have to actually convert that into a string and all that stuff, sorry, for integer and all that stuff. Okay. So for the moment, we want to see this is working. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put some sort of weight. So wait, you know, for what am I doing here? Wait for something, maybe wait for the timeout. I think page.sleep should work. No, that's for Python. So I'm gonna do like 5 seconds every time. Okay, so every time it goes through each one, it will wait 5 seconds. That should actually give us some time to wait for the results. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this now. Wait for timeout. Keyboard press, boom. Run again, wait for timeout. So see, we're doing timeout every time it searches and done. So basically, if I didn't put the weight, it's gonna be not visible to you, right? It's just super fast, okay? And then it's doing the second one, and then one at a time, it will do all of the, you see all of the string that we have, right? And it's doing one by one. So far, so good. Any question before I move into the next, which is going to be creating more functions? One is to calculate the results, how many results you're getting.
I just have one question. Can you just walk me, just show me the pattern, how it connected the key from the keyword to the CSV file? Like how, I just want to walk me through how they're connected. That's
sure. Okay, that's a good question because I don't expect everybody to get it right away. All right, so we're grabbing all the values from the CSV and putting it into a variable, which is this. So when you provide the path of the CSV, what it does, this function is designed to return you a what's that called? An array, correct? So we're basically just returning the array and then putting it inside of the what's that called? Variable that we declared earlier. Those values. Okay. So so far so good.
Yep.
This function returns. Okay, just know that this function will give you anything inside of the CSV. Okay, in an array form. The data type for this is array basically. So you get the array, and it goes into the keyword, which is the name of the array. Now we learned last class that we can actually go through each item in an array, and this one takes each item from the CSV and puts them in order, right? So now we're saying we're using the for loop to say that we want to go through each of the keywords inside of this array. And each time we go through, we're going to replace the value. We're going to put the ELE value is going to be the first time it goes through, it will be the first value. The second time it goes through, it will be the second value. The third time that it goes through, it will be the third value. Okay. So now since this is a loop and it will continue to go on until this keyword has no more options, no more, elements. Now, the first time it goes, let's run through this, right? The first time it goes, it will search for a keyword, the very first keyword, and then it will wait 5 seconds. And it will log it, console log it, which is right here. It will also write it right here. So first time it did weather, okay? The second time, and it's not done yet because the keywords still have more elements, right? The second time it will use latest sports news as an option, and it'll wait 5 seconds. And do the same thing for each one of these until it no longer have any more string to go with, or in this case, this array contains string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, 5 of them, basically. Okay. And that's exactly what just happened here. So far, so good. And again, remember we created a function search keyword, and we said the value is coming from the test file, right? So value, so the ELE is being passed on every time. Okay. So now that we have this, does it even matter how many keywords we have here? It doesn't. We can have any given, we can have hundreds, and our test is going to run forever with those hundreds or whatever, like the thousands, whatever is the case.
As you can see here, if you look at this file, the number 1, the keyword doesn't do this. It's not part of this array, right? So
right.
Does this mean it?
Keyword is not a value. It's in a header.
Okay.
Yeah. So the library that we're using. So if you go into your CSV reader, it is only this method right here is only grabbing what the value is, the data, not the header. But if you want to grab the header, you would have to specify here. So let me go into their website because they definitely have mentioned this. If it's grabbing the header or not. Okay. To specify options for CSV, press an object argument. For example, CSV separator. You can choose the separator. If you have like more than one item, you can do like for example, this is a separator, right? Well, you can say comma separator if you'd like. Okay. What else? You can have data like as complex as this, right? You can say separated by this. So you have a lot of options in terms of this, and they also have like examples when you use them. So how do I know? I can go into their GitHub, and now I can actually go into their test file and see how they created the tests, right? I can actually go through the test. So for hash, they created one. For array, they created one. So I can actually look into their tests and use those for me. I can look into their examples, and like I can see how they were using it. You see, it's just grabbing the data and doing it this way. So, all right. So you just have to do a little bit of researching, unless you want to write everything yourself, like all the code. It's going to be going back to, reinventing a wheel since you already have this. Okay. So alternatively, we didn't have to use CSV cursor. We could have used convert CSV to array. Okay. There have got to be something. I mean, I'm just writing. So CSV to array is not there. So I'm gonna have to type it in Google because it's not. To convert, let's see, npm convert CSV to JSON, which is another. You see, there is another npm that you can actually use, and this is even easier to use, and it gives you the data in this form, and you'd have to pull your data from JSON. So reading the data from JSON is even easier, which I can show you guys on the next one. Okay. Okay, so let's keep in mind CSV today. We'll do the JSON and XML later. These are also important for you to know. So now that you guys know how this works.
For better understanding, I just want to know in the test class, we call CSV reader folder 2 times. So what is the main differences inside the class or outside of the class? We declare the CSV reader.
Where? From the test? Okay, let me go back to the test in a second.
Mhm.
Okay, right here. So
Yeah.
you said we
Mhm.
have 3 outside right here.
Also
This is the
inside
one
the
you're talking
test.
about, or
Yeah, between difference between two of them
okay, this one
and this
and
one, yeah.
this one, right?
Not this one. The
This
keyword,
one.
the avoid CSV dot reader. And
Okay, right here.
yeah,
He's talking about line number 12 and 3.
yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Line number 12, you're basically, you want to use the method. So obviously CSV reader is the, the instance of that class where you're grabbing the method from, and it takes a path, right? We're passing in a path. So this is how you're grabbing your keywords, return as a array. This will eventually be the array that will contain all of the values, right? And then which one you're talking about? 3.
I
The 3
understand
is
the three,
basically
but basically
locating.
I'm talking about the 12. Inside the parentheses, we can see the test data slash keyword dot CSV. So actually, I want to know where these paths come from.
Oh, test
That's
data.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay,
where
okay. So yeah, go ahead.
the test data, that's where actually your actual data is coming from. That's where you put the data, like every single name. The number 3 is the one that that's one of the actions file that he created, how to read the CSV file. I think I'm explaining it somewhat.
Okay, you tried. No, you did good. So look, this function was created to give you the data from CSV, but we have to tell it where the CSV is. When we created this function, if you go to that function, where is it? CSV reader. This function, notice it says file path, right? We just wrote this. We can change to whatever we want. We can just say path, right? And we just have to make sure that this is also the same thing that we're giving. So what you're saying is that you will provide a path to this function. It will take the path and it will return you the value that you need. Okay? It will give you the values that you need from that CSV. So wherever your CSV file is, so in this case, I have a CSV inside of my folder. I want those information from here. And again, why we even using it? Because we only have 5 options, but in your workplace, you may have 1,000 options. So there is no manual work for you to go through the CSV one at a time and taking it from here, copy, paste. We're just going to use the CSV that is given to us. Okay. So make sense? We're providing the path to the CSV.
I have another question. Since you changed the name from file path to a path, that's not gonna, you'd have to change anything else, right? It's the same thing?
That is the temporary placeholder until we
Got
provide
it.
the value.
Okay.
That is, that is the option, sorry, the function parameter. That's how,
Okay.
so today is probably your first introduction to function parameter, and all of that, everything that we did is parameters. You can see, right? All of that, like all of these require something. Even the go-to page, we're using the parameters too.
Okay. So I know we are 9:15. I have another questions. As a business, if I'm asked, if I want to know the further, thing I want to ask basically is that I want you to search that whatever keyword it is, and then I want you to give me the number of result you get from that keyword.
Okay, yeah, that's what
How do
we're
we do
gonna
that?
do. Yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna do that regardless of the time. We have to finish things. Again, consider this as a boot camp because, if you're not spending 6, 7, 8 hours, trust me, at the end, you're just here. Really, it's not gonna change a lot. Your mind is gonna stay where it was before. It's not gonna change a lot. Okay, so you have to look by now. If you're not addicted to write some test cases or like kind of take that as a challenge, and you feel like you're challenged and you're writing some test cases, then I would say I would go back actually and get that kind of mindset. I would go back to the previous classes, previous homework. I'll do it again if I need to, because you're missing a very, very valuable. You're actually messing up a very valuable lesson, which is like this class. It's like one of a kind, right? You're not gonna get this. You're actually becoming a full stack QA engineer. Full stack means you know pretty much how to deal with any situation. you know, CI/CD would be the next thing to cover, but you're learning everything, a little bit of everything. But if you miss it, then you don't know anything, right? Don't wait for tomorrow. And if you're doing that, then unfortunately, you had a chance. You had a chance, and you kind of like let it go. Because this is something that you're not gonna find it on Udemy. This is something that you will not find it on Google. This is something that you will not find on YouTube. Obviously, my YouTube channel you'll find, but not anybody else. But again, you're missing up the live classes, right? I mean, you're not gonna enjoy this if you do it later on your own. So I would say spend a lot more time. This is a boot camp. It's not like, okay, I'm spending 2 hours and it's too much. Okay, I hate him for giving me 2 hours of homework. That's not the way. You should be like until we're done, you should be spending as much as time needed. This is gonna change you. This is gonna, don't forget about career. This is gonna make you feel good about yourself that you did something and you actually know it. Okay, so now that we want to see the results, we're going to be inside of the same loop because each time it searches, we don't want to be outside of the loop. Otherwise, we're going to get the last one. Okay. So we wait 5 seconds. I'm going to increase this to maybe like 10 seconds. So we have some time to see, otherwise we don't see anything. Now I want to grab the results. So I'm going to go back to my action class right here. And I want to create a way to grab the search results. Okay, so if I go to Google and I type something, let's say laptop or something, and I get this value, right? I'm gonna go ahead and select this, and it has an ID. Wow, okay, that's great. I'm gonna go ahead and put this ID into my locator so I can use this value. See about this? Initially, I'll print this value, and then after that, I will calculate. We'll have to also calculate this value. So that's going to be a bit difficult because you're getting a string. This is a string in return, right? So how do we grab the numbers only from the string? That's something that we're going to do too. Go to the locator. Let's go ahead and give it a nice name, results. Result, whatever, count, I don't know.
You can put search result.
Yeah, I know, but it's giving you a result count. So naming, you have to be kind of good at it, right? Because we're the Q engineers, right? What we're doing is that we're creating a lot of things that on our own, like variable names. So you have to be really good at naming too, so that way it doesn't look like, okay, everything is a VAR, back in the days, like in a var 2, var 1, var, like, just name it properly. It looks nice. Okay, so you can even say locator 1.
Do we validate if that's the only locator for search results on that page?
Let's see. I don't know. You tell me. Let's see. I can go ahead and search it. Okay, so I'm gonna it's an ID. I'll just put a hashtag. As you guys know, any ID works with hashtag properly. Okay, it's not the only one, guys. Not the only one. Okay, but how can we change that? So this one is a style. This is for like looks only. So I know that there is a difference between the first one is the one we want, and the first one has ID, but then it's a div tag, div. So I'm gonna go put a div in front of it and see if it 1 of 1. Wow, okay, that's 1 of 1. So I'm using my locator. Sorry, I'm using the tag name from the locator to make sure my locator is unique. This trick that I'm teaching you guys, just remember those because you're gonna need it at some point with locators.
So I know you've been using ID a lot and all that and other element. When do you use a selector and XPath or full
so when you
XPath?
have no other choice, you see, like XPath you use if there's another choice, like I can do selector right here and I can see it will give me something like this. You see, it gave me, but then it's 2. So then I have to work on my way up and say, okay, no, I'll go ahead and add this. I can also right click and get an XPath. Okay. Oh, sorry, this JS path. XPath, and I go in there, paste it, and can see it looks weird. I don't want this, but XPath is probably more
Efficient.
better. Yeah. Expert is always gonna be the last one because it's like if there's nothing else, then expert is the rescue. I don't like expert because it looks like this weird. Okay, so I went ahead and made the modification. It works. We can also use expert if you don't want to think too much about it. Just get it done.
Got it.
Okay, so now that we are here, I can do a sync. I can say, you know, like for this one, let's say validate something, validate search result count at this point. For now, I will probably have no parameters for this, so I'll leave it empty because it will just do it. Okay. And what I will do next is that I'm gonna go ahead and say result equal to await this dot page dot locator dot right locator what do I do here?
Google locator. Mhm.
Google locator and
The-
then
yeah.
result
Local
count.
result count.
Okay, good. So then we have this variable ready to go. I'm gonna say let's wait for this because now we don't need that waiting, you know, like the 10 seconds, 20 seconds we put in because we can say wait for. So we don't need to do that because it'll do up to 30 seconds regardless. We'll leave the 10 seconds because I want to see it myself. It's too fast. And we'll remove it when we're ready to do. So now that it will get this, right, it will wait for it, but then we want to get the text. We want to grab the text out of this. Okay, so I don't know how to get that, right? So I can say result dot, and then I can like have, I can actually go through all these options that I have for this. Let's see if there's anything that says result, and if there's anything it says that I can do like keyboard or okay, maybe text or get something, get, you see, no. So let's see what can I do to get the text. I'm gonna go back to my playwright.dev just to make sure that I know what I need. So I'm gonna say get text. Okay, get by text now. Get text, get by text. Filter by text. No. Okay. Okay, inner text maybe, inner. Okay. Get, okay, let's see, get it. Okay, set test ID attribute, no. Okay, I'm gonna, for this one, I'm gonna have to Google it because I don't know what exactly I should be searching for. Google should take me back over there, right? So I'm gonna say play, write, get text, right, from element, right? See, just like, you know, how many millions of people searching for the same thing. I don't want to see the video. You see the locator? So it says the locator has it. Oh, okay, sure. I'll get by ID, get by this, get by that, okay. Get by text, no, we don't want to do that. Then what is the actions? To visible, nope. You see fill, also
Maybe you can
not.
use the get by text.
No, by text, that means we want to get the text from the page, not get text, you know what I'm saying? Okay, that's that. Get by text, no. It's misunderstanding my question. It's called inner text. Okay, this is the one. Okay, then get by text now. Locator to okay, so it's probably
Chat GPT it and it
inner
says
text. There should be inner text actually now. I didn't want to search for that because I know what inner text does. Okay. What does ChatGPT says?
I could just put on the chat.
Get text, get text, get text. Come on, press this. Okay, let me go back to Google. Get text. Playwright. Not the get by text, okay. Get text of element. Maybe this is the one, but I okay, somebody else's syntax. So as you
So,
can see, page.text content is one. We got the all text content that we can use. I doubt the text content will work. I think text content is, so let's see. So you got the text content and it will get it. Which one?
Playwrights text content equal await
Okay.
dot page text content selector.
Okay. Well, we already have the locator there, so we don't need that. We will apply it at the end. So we should be good. So you got the text there, right there. Okay, so go ahead and result dot this, boom, and then that's it. It's gonna get text. So I'm gonna put this as a, I'm gonna go ahead and put this as let, so we can have this every time. Left, okay. Result string. I'm gonna give it a name, very generic result string. I'm gonna go ahead and print this, okay, so we can see console.log, and Control C. Oh, sorry, Command C. I'm gonna print it here, but before I print it, I'm gonna just, okay, you know what? Leave it like this. Directly, it should do the right thing. I don't want to print any other messages. Okay, let's go ahead and run it. Not here, but okay. I gotta go to console here. It should probably start printing things there. The weather today, and then it should kind of like give us the results. It's waiting for the 10 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever the case. Latest spots, okay. It didn't print anything at all. So get text probably not working.
Jewel, can you go to the VS Code? Yeah, so on here, right? See the let result line number 25, right? So don't you have to put the selector there? No, right? Specify the
So
selector
result.
Yeah, the result.
So it's the result.
Content. Yeah, okay.
The result. What is result is equal to?
Equal to result count, the locator. Okay, got it. That makes sense.
Right. So they're already there.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just test the idea. I will say I will print something on my own to make sure. So let's say I would say something like this. This is the result, whatever, and then so at least it'll show me empty, right? At least it'll give me the empty result, so I can kind of make an assumption that it didn't work. Okay. Okay, does that. Taking a little bit longer. Let's start again. Like this part, okay. So it's probably printing, but not here. This thing. So I'm gonna use the other. Actually, for debugging, I like the other one. We had it. So it prints it there. So it's. Let's see. I can also see bigger, which is better. Oh, okay, I know what's happening probably.
This one,
So where is the results?
there's no result.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening with the Google situation here.
It is in different language as well.
It thinks we're in some other country, probably. I don't know. Why is it in Russian? Okay. Okay, so Why is it not giving me results? Like seriously?
You can change it to
Um,
English. There's an option on top.
Right here, this.
No,
or
on
that?
top, on top, on top. Go up. Yeah,
This?
a little.
Yeah, but I shouldn't change. I shouldn't have
Yeah.
to do that. It should
The
have been.
change.
Yeah, I don't have to do that because then every time a test runs, I have to do it manually. Okay, so I'm gonna change the browser, okay, a little bit just to make sure this is not a browser related fix. Okay, so then we have, so this is our Chromium. And go ahead and.
It says geolocation, so it should be our current location.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and remove that. This is okay. This is something that I added last time. Okay, that's fine. You guys shouldn't see this problem. The reason why we add geolocation, by the way, is because like let's say sometime when you go to Google, it says, "Can you click here to share your location or something like that?" This will remove that kind of option because you're already providing early. No wonder it's in Russian. Okay, the coordinate is probably in Russian. Okay, good. So you can actually fake the location too in your browser.
Okay.
All right, so let me run it first. This shouldn't be an issue right now.
There it is.
Okay, see, but you see this thing comes out is because of that. That's why I had to put it, but I have to only put US coordinates. So that's that. The results right there. 10 seconds, boom. But it's not printing. That's what I care about at this moment. So if it's not printing, this could be an inner text, right? So I'm gonna have to deal with this in a bit different way. Okay, so now I have to go and update that step to make sure that I'm grabbing that. So if I go to, let me just X this out. I don't need this for now. I'll go to maybe, let's say, get inner. These are inner text basically. So inner text of element, playwright. Okay, so, oh, not Selenium. So you would have to Google things also, right? I mean, you're not gonna be blocked just because.
Can you use the split command for that?
What command?
Split, which is
No, you're ahead. No, you're ahead of what we're about to do. But split, you know what is split for, right? What is
it's
split
separate a
for?
keyword from string.
Yeah, but we don't have the string yet. You see, it's not printing anything. It's supposed to at least give us the string back, right? We're just printing the string.
So Jewel, I shared the inner text code on the chat. Is this the one?
Let's see. Yeah, this might be it. Okay. So inner text. Yeah, page.inner text, and then but I don't have to like use. I'm gonna use the locator rather. So let me go back to my action.
Yeah, that's what ChatGPT gave me when I searched.
Gotcha. Inner text. Let's see. I mean,
you put that period twice.
Double. Okay. Okay, the first one had the result and everything. Let's see. Whether today. Now, text content actually going to work. The problem is where we are printing it from, probably. So that's probably the reason. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and console.log from somewhere else. We're inside of the class, so let me just. Okay, so then in this case, let's say I'll do a return here. Before we do that, let's do the text content real Wait. Text.
Actually, when we use the concatenation plus sign inside the parenthesis, console.log, can use the
Yeah, so
plus
see,
sign.
we don't need, no. This is the new syntax that we use.
Mhm.
Okay, so then if that is the case for each one, I will return, okay. See, okay. Validate search result count. By the way, we're not calling this anywhere. You know that, right? You guys notice? So why is it gonna run if we're not calling this anywhere? Makes sense, right? Let's see. Promise. Okay, I think okay, that's gonna return something. Okay, guys, the problem was, and nobody pointed this out, right? You go to your test. Where are you calling it for each one? Nowhere, right? Await Google page, search page dot something. Search count. Doesn't take anything, so we leave it like this. Okay. Makes any sense, Ram? A little better? Okay, let's see
Yeah.
what happens now. Okay, so at least we're seeing an error, which is good. Result, return results equal to blah, blah, blah. Okay, we can't just assign it like this. We have to go back to the definition. Declaring a value. Okay, let me see. We gotta also. Actually, we can even print it here because we don't have to print it. Okay. So I can just say, where is it got text? Okay. All right. Result text. Okay, so now I'm gonna do console.log. You guys realize why it didn't print, right? Right? Anybody? So let me just double check my test to make sure if everything is good. Okay, so the search result is going to be first, and then it will give us what keyword we searched with if it's printing at all. There you go. Okay, so now we can do split. Okay, now we can actually, so what if you want the numbers only so we can put some validation, right? And I'm going to do that very quickly because we're like so much on our time. So let's say, so it's printing the results. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say split. Somebody mentioned split. Okay, so I'm going to use a split. Okay, tell me what should I put inside of this split?
Double quotation.
Okay. Okay, double quotation. Okay, what does that mean?
So we can give a space or comma, whatever we want to split.
Okay, so in this case, what do we need? For this, we can do space,
A space, yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it'll split it into the space. Okay. And then we probably want, so it'll return a array, correct? The split is gonna make it into different section. We want 0, 1. We want number 1 element in the array, right? Okay. How do we get the element and
so we need to print it
in an array? 0, right? Make sense?
0 means
So it'll
the
only
function,
print
it will
this.
only the field.
Sorry, 1. Yeah.
This
So we
should
do
be
1. So we want the number.
just number. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to also print 20 seconds too? 29 seconds.
20 seconds. Right? Nope. It's gonna split it into wherever the space is. The first one is gonna split it right here.
Okay.
The second one here, and we don't care anything after. It's gonna split, also do here. This is the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element. Okay. We only want the second one.
And
Okay,
I have
let's
a
run
question.
it.
If
Yeah.
I want to just print result, right? Just how do I do that? Could you show me? I mean,
What do you mean? What result?
no, forget. Yeah, go ahead. Continue. Sorry.
We did that, no? We just did that.
Okay.
Okay, so split, I think, okay, so I'm gonna put the split in there. This is an array now. Array. Split array. So then we're gonna get numbers only, num only is equal to result this. Hold on a second. Okay, so now I'm gonna put 1 in here, and then we should be good to go.
What is the definition of one? It just basically one means get all the numbers.
It's index value. So whenever you have an array start from 0 all the time. So the first element, second element, third element. So if you want the first one, so this whole thing will be split into different section, and it becomes an array. So we're saying we want to split it wherever there is a space. Okay, so
Okay.
where's the first space? Is here. Okay.
So if I
So-
want about, it will be
about-
0.
So about, yeah, it'll be 0.
Okay. And the number is 1, and if the result will be 2.
Correct. It starts from
Okay.
0, index values.
Okay.
Right, let's go and do this. I'm rushing because I'm keeping you guys here. We should be done by now. Okay. So now we're running it. Let's see. Still let this. Okay. So for some reason, text content split is. So maybe directly we're not able to apply that split. Let me see in JavaScript. I will now go ahead and show you guys the method where the JavaScript method.
So we can declare inside the variable where we.
That's VLIT. 1 second, sorry.
So I can,
Split,
you know,
and this is how it is. You got the text, and then you dot, and you got the split, right? So const, okay, my array. When we did that, let me see if I'm missing anything at all. Where is my? Okay, so result. Okay, because this is different things. Like the whole product of this is different. So this is your first, right? The text. Then the array comes later, right? So we're just putting too many things at the same time. So now we're going to select array is equal to result text dot split now, right? So we can do this with a space, single space, and it will split it there. So now then we take the array and we say the first one we want. Oh, sorry. This copy. Oh, I'm not even copying this, and then num only also going to be a let. It's another variable. You see how many variables are going? And then paste it here. Done. Any questions? Okay, so you see only numbers are being printed, but then we still have problems. The problem is that we have basically we have these commas and stuff. These are also count as like characters. We want to remove those, and then what we want to do, we want to make sure this is the actual number so we can compare. If it's not a number, we cannot compare, right? So if you want to remove that, you can say replace. I believe there is a so replace is basically you're saying wherever a comma, replace that with nothing. Okay. Replace that with nothing because it's empty. Let's print. Let's go ahead and run it real quick. Okay, let's find replace method because it seems like we didn't use replace method properly. JavaScript replace. Let's see if it does have any. Okay, so text replace this with this. All right, so what's the deal? Same thing, probably. Once we get the array, we have to do it separately, unfortunately. So not here, or maybe the spelling is not correct. Let me see what I did wrong first before I go ahead and use this. Okay. PLACE replace REPLACE. Okay, that's good. Okay. So far, you guys are with me, right?
Yeah.
Convert. Okay, so let's convert this into number because right now it's a string. Let's convert to num, right? Equal to num only dot replace. This is still replace the first one, double quote. We want to replace this guy with nothing, because that's good. Once we do that, we want to convert this into integer. So let's see JavaScript integer. And it's called parse int, but then it has a limitation. If you do parse int, actually, it will actually take the so if you do parse int, the number that we're getting is huge, and parse int has limitation on how many numbers it can work with. So we'll have to do another data types. Today is too late. We're gonna just do this much, and then we'll pick it up from the next class, guys. Okay, it should print by now without any commas and stuff. Okay. Okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, okay, nothing that I did wrong. Even if the last one should work, so then the console log that we have, we need to put it right here, and also the method that we have, results. Okay, so in this case, convert dot number. Okay. We are printing only numbers. We're not printing this one after the conversion, so that's why. Okay, it didn't replace anything. 666. Okay, it did somewhat, maybe, right? Okay, before it was a lot.
No, you
You can
only
see
replaced only replace the first comma.
Yeah, but it should have done all of it. Okay, so we have to we have to basically put some sort of regular expression. So I will just basically say something like a replace all comma in JavaScript, just to save time. I don't want to. So you see that there is a way to do this, which is replace this comma and then this. But that should work. Oh, there's a replace all. Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Okay, replace all. We'll use that. So as you can see, you have to learn about the methods as you go, right? But you have to know that at least it exists, so you can find it just like me. Okay, it did it. It did it right here. But then we're getting some other issue, which is wait for the next one. Maybe it's just too quick. Okay, we have to put some wait
Maybe
back.
you can use the plus sign in the line number 27, plus array 1,
Where?
line number 27,
27.
plus
Okay.
sign here in front of array.
Oh yeah, we got increment. No, but why would you do plus? This is the same, like, because for all the string, the second item is the one, right? This is failing at here. So we can't randomly fix other things when we have failure somewhere else, which is the first thing is this. That means it's wait for is failing, result of wait for, because we don't have a wait in front of it, guys. Thank you for helping. This we don't need to await because it's a constant. It already grabbed the text, so we don't need to await for this. We don't need to await for this. We also don't need to wait for that. Okay, there you go. Everything is working. So now, now that you have number, you can convert that into a integer, and then you can do comparing, right? You can say it has to be more than this number. So like if I'm dealing with a large number, right? So JavaScript, large number, what do I need the format, right? So large number usually is called double. So like, for example, number, it goes up to this much. It doesn't care about decimals. We don't have decimals, so we don't have to worry about that. But let's see, we go to JavaScript W3. We go in here and then let's look at the variables. Okay, data types, sorry, data types. So we got a string number, right? We cannot use number because it's too small. Let's see, what is the limitation of number? Open. Let's go into the number real quick. Number. Okay, so yeah, stop. All right. It's kind of late for the day, right? We almost did an hour, but at least we're printing this. The next part would be comparing. So we would basically put assertions here. So it'll be like expect this number to be greater than like maybe like 10,000. We're gonna do that on the next class. I will send you guys the homework through the WhatsApp group. It'll be quite big, so you'll have 4 or 5 days to spend anyway. So I will send you guys homework. I'll write it down. I will basically tell you exactly what to do. In the meantime, you know, because I guess I'll not take any more questions for the night. That's pretty late for all of you guys.
I have one more request, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you push this code to the master to GitHub without deleting my locator? So this way we can actually take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, sure, we'll do that.
Yeah, because I did halfway, then I just kind of I couldn't follow.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead and push this code and then I'll give you the homework. Okay.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thanks. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you.